It's 7:22 and I just looked out and saw the most beautiful sky. Look at this, everyone. Oh, wow. You know what we should do? We should go up into the attic and have a look. Let's go in the attic and have a look. Wow. Isn't that beautiful, everybody? Look at that. Look at that over there. You know what I like about this scene? The black cloud against the red sky, look, coming over. We're in Ardsley Cemetery. Now the reason why I'm here today is because, well, you know, I'm sure I've done this cemetery before. But when I look back on the channel, I couldn't find the bloody video, but I did see that there was a short type one that I'd done. This cemetery was opened in 1888 or 1889, which means really that it's a very young cemetery in the face of things. But it's got some beautiful markers. We're going to have a look at some of them today. And it's unusually got, well, not so unusually actually, because I've seen this quite a few times before, but it's got two individual chapels. It's got this one and this one. I'm assuming it might be something to do with different, you know, like a Catholic chapel or a Protestant chapel or whatever they want to call it, or whatever they do call it. But it is a nice little graveyard. You know what? The more I think about it, the more I don't think I have done this one. I think I did a visit, but I didn't actually conclude it with a full-on vid. So I tell you what, let's start here, because this is where the bigger, more prominent graves are. We will have a look down the bottom end as well, and I noticed that over here there's some absolutely fabulous ones, although we're probably going to stay away from this area that I'm showing you because that has the more modern graves, and as you know I don't tend to film them. But we're going to start here. This is James, the dearly beloved husband of Mary Ann Watling, who departed this life January 21st, 1915. He was 64 years old, and Mary Ann's in there as well. She died in 1923. You know what's beautiful about this grave, everybody, is the lovely flowers there, but look, one of them's fell off. You know what, it is actually bleeding cold today. Yeah, so these two chapels here, by the way, I think the fella were called John Moxon, and he was a local fella, architect, and he was also the person that did the gatehouse or whatever it was called. I can't remember the name of it now, but at Lock Park, as you go in off the main road, there's a structure there, and he built that as well, and many other civic buildings. I think he did the market hall as well, many other things. But I'll tell you what's beautiful about this. Look at that gorgeous window at the top there, that turret, and I wonder if there's a bell up there. I bet there is, you know, or there was. God, it's horrible today, everyone. This is a beautiful grave, isn't it? Look at this. In loving memory of John, the beloved husband of Elizabeth Oxley. He died February 23rd, 1919. He was 67-year-old. Also Elizabeth, she was 73 when she went in. She went in, no, 79 I think. She went in 1939. Yeah, so as I was saying, this is, oh, look at that poor get there. Died in First World War, age 29. George Ellis, Royal Field Artillery, 4th of May, 1918. 51258, driver, age 29. I'm just editing this bit around George now, and I wanted to tell you about what I found out about him. So George George worked in coal mines and he was a colliery trammer. A trammer would be a person who would take the coal from the coal face, push it down a railroad on one of them trucks, I imagine, one of them coal trucks. They would either push, pull, or guide these trucks, and they'd take them to the shaft, and then the coal would be taken up to the surface from the shaft. Very, very physically demanding job, and usually done by people who were young or had just sort of moved into the colliery, you know, like to cut the teeth in the trade sort of thing. But I've got some physical description of him as well. So that's what he did before he went away, which is interesting because I'll talk about that in a moment, about him working in the collieries and then going off to war. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I know what he looked like. I ain't got a picture, but I know that he was 5'4", that he had a fresh complexion with light brown hair and grey eyes. Grey eyes. He was physically fit, and he had a 34.5-inch chest, whatever that means. Well, I also know that he was discharged from the army on the 27th of September 1917, which is 7-8 months before he actually died. But I also know that his discharge papers weren't signed until the 3rd of June 1918, which means that because his papers weren't stamped on the 27th of September when it was his initial discharge date, it means that he was out of the country. So he was discharged while he was out of the country, but the paperwork wasn't signed until after he died, which means that he probably died outside the country and then they brought his body back. But he didn't die until May. So I'm interested to know, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to find out. I wouldn't even know how to find out, to be honest. I'd like to understand what happened. I don't think I'm ever going to know. But like, I'd like to understand what happened to him. Like, hang on, why was he discharged in 17? Why did he not die until the May? Why was he discharged at all? Was he discharged because he got maimed or unable to fight and therefore they discharged him and then he died of those injuries later? You see, the thing is, I don't think he died while he was in the country. And the reason why I don't think he did that is because the actual stamp wasn't applied to the document until the 3rd of June. And it says, from what I've seen, it says, if the discharge happens outside of the country, the form will be signed by the officer once they're back in the country. So I think he probably died abroad. He was discharged before he died. I think he's been injured in the war. He's gone into hospital. He's been discharged because there's just no way he'll ever fight again. And he's not been dishonourably discharged or anything. He's put down he was very hard worker, very honourable. So I think something really bad's happened, and then his death has probably resulted from that. Also, I'm pretty sure it said on that stone he was 29. We'll have a look in a minute. Might be wrong. But the paperwork says he was 30. Now, it wasn't unusual in men at the time to lie about their age so that they could get into the army to fight. But George wouldn't have to do that because he would have well been old enough. He'd have been over 18. It's usually all the lads like 15, 16 that wanted to go in. So, bit of a mystery. If anyone knows how to solve mysteries like that, let me know. But other than that, let's get on with the rest of the video. Can you imagine being pulled out the pits, sent off to war? Coming from this town and then being sent out to wherever. Unfortunately, I don't know where he died, but he was in the Royal Field Artillery. I'll see if I can find anything. Harriet, the beloved wife of Jabez Woodward. She departed this life December 30th. Oh God, it's December 30th today. No, it's not. It's 31st. 1911, aged 61 years. Peace, perfect peace, until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. Also, the above named Jabez Woodward, who departed this life Jan 31st, 1922. I think Ruth Elizabeth Green, must be their daughter. She died in 1958, and her husband, crikey, I'm assuming that's her husband. Maybe not, maybe it's her son, Walter Green. He died in 1995. You know what I really enjoy about looking around graveyards? I love it when I can find a story. Elizabeth, the beloved wife of Ben Winder, or Winder, of Ardsley, born July 1847. Hey, look at that. She died on her birthday. She was born July 18th, 1847 and died July 18th, 1908. Also Cyrus, son of the above, he died born October 3rd, 1882. Hang on a minute, look at that. He died 1908 as well, a month before. Also the above named Ben Winder. He died in 1912, 31st of January. They were born 1845. Also Minnie, the beloved daughter of the above, she died 1980. Oh, they all died dead young. I wonder what the story is there. I think it all linches, certainly for Elizabeth, I think it linches around Cyrus. Don't you? You know what? I'm absolutely fleeing everyone. And I hope this sounds alright. I don't know if it's a bit dodgy. I think my chin keeps hitting the microphone, but I've had to use the microphone today with wind deflector because it's just too bloody windy. To the dear memory of Albert Jones, Sunnyside, Sturfoot, who entered into rest June 12, 1924, aged 64 year. Also Lillian Adelaide Jones, wife of the above, who entered into rest 7th of Feb 1954. 30 odd years she lived without her husband, did Lillian. Apparently in this graveyard there is a monument to I think it's wrong. I can't see a monument to Oaks. That was in the other place we did the other day. I want to have a look at that brown grave over there. Do you see it? We're going to have a look, and the one behind it's got a strange motif on it. We'll have a look at that and all. But I want to have a look at this one first. You know, usually when you see little angels and things like that, that usually denotes that it's the grave of a child. We'll have a look at that in a minute. This one also could be. Yeah, see, look. In loving memory of Joyce, the beloved daughter of Alvin and Nellie Pape, born Feb 19th, 1926, died March 16th, 1927. In true and loving memory of my dear husband, Arthur Sheriff, of Lincoln Street, Barnsley, who passed away November 25th, 1918, in his 27th year. Around his grave. Hey everyone, I don't know what happened to that Arthur, but I can tell you, because I was thinking he died young. Now, the sad story behind Arthur and Ida, his wife, is he died in, I think it was September, wasn't it, or October. They only got married in the January that year. So she was married to him for a matter of months. And by the looks of things, she never remarried or had any children or anything. When he died, he left 212 quid. And I reckon there's a really good possibility she spent every penny on that grave, don't you? Because that grave was spectacular. She ended up moving to Bridlington and lived out her days in a flat over there. What a sad story. I wonder what killed him. He worked as an auctioneer assistant, you know, like an auctioneer. That could be like animal auctioneering or whatever. Maybe something happened to him at work. Maybe he did work in farming auctioneering or something. Maybe he was attacked. He died young. What a shame. A shame for both of them, but like even more of a shame for Ida. She would have been a young woman, and you can see what she says on the grave, but it doesn't look like she ever moved on from him. And just to put it into context, Ida was born in the late 1800s, she died in 1981. So she lived a good 90 odd years. And only a few of those months was she with her husband, officially married. So sad, innit? Anyway, let's get back to the bed. Around his grave are quieting and beauty, and the sweet heaven above, the fitting symbols of the life of duty, transfigured into love. Around his grave are quieting and beauty. There is a beautiful flower. I bet that's a gorgeous colour, that, in the summertime. And look at that urn there. Also of Adam Blake. Is it Blades? The dearly loved friend of the above and husband of Anne Blades, killed in action in France, August 1917. Oh, it's August 21st, that is, or 27th. I think it's 27th, actually, everyone. In his 29th year. His death a noble one. God, I'm freezing. My hand's frozen solid. Isn't she beautiful? In loving memory of Mary, the beloved wife of Walter Ray of Stepcote Terrace, Sturfoot. Have you heard that wind? You know, it's actually scary, that wind, everyone. So she died March 15th, 1917. She was only 46. Don't look like Walter's in there. Maybe Walter remarried, another, you know, maybe another one where they were buried with new wife. Did we see this one over here? I don't think we did we? Let's go over. William Milner. I like this grave. This is, oh, look at the top of that there. It's been pulled off though, look. In loving memory of William Milner, departed this life March 26th, 1920, age 65, yeah. Let's just pick this up, everyone. Oh, look at that, someone's thrown a bleeding bottle. Might have just blown out the bin, to be fair. It must be difficult. Yeah, there's very few graves from the late 18s, isn't there? I mean, there obviously are going to be some. That's a beautiful grave over there. Look at that one. Walter. There's moles here, look. Are they funny moles? I like them, me. Look. Walter, the beloved husband of Emma Jepson. He died July 6th, 1912, aged 47. Again, Emma's not in there, or if she is, nobody put a name on the grave. got this new thing that I'm liking a lot recently. Paths in cemeteries. I think they're fabulous, especially these ones that are all covered in moss. I mean, I think they're a bit dangerous covered in moss, but they look great. Look at that for a view.